Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
We were supposed to have someone, and he may still be calling in because he's in Peru, and he's a real performer, and I hope that he does call us because you will love this. It's Ashley the Entertainer, and Ashley has the look of a rat packer. They call it a rat. You don't remember the Rat Pack. Pipes like Nat King Cole, and when he shakes his hips, the ladies swoon. His show is part song, part dance, part ballet, and part acrobatics. It's fresh yet familiar. His love of performing is written all over his face. So, what am I telling you this about? Okay, you can join Ashley the Entertainer as he dances and sings his way through the songs of the 40s, 50s, and 60s with grace, class, and a style all his own. Now, I'll tell you how you can do this, and I hope he will call in, but I'm going to tell you more about him. You'll be able to catch his show on Friday, June the 9th, Saturday, June the 10th, 2 times, and it's at the Arts Garage in Delray Beach. That's a very nice place. I've seen lots of shows there. It's it actually was a garage, and they converted it into a club. It's very, very nice. So I'm going to tell you more about that. But let me tell you about him. He's as charming as can be. You'll see him on the cover of our May issue, and he's called Ashley the Entertainer and the Best Times Band. You can join Ashley as he sings and dances his way through the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about him. Hopefully he'll call in. Calling in from Peru because he happens to be in Peru, and I'm not quite sure why. Maybe he'll tell us when he does call in. But I'm just going to read through some of this, and let's see if we hear from him. Okay. He says, remember Sammy Davis, Nat King Cole, Astaire. Oh, we know Fred Astaire. Okay. Johnny Mathis, Cab Calloway, Perry Como, Sinatra, and Presley. Of course we remember them. This is our age, isn't it? Anyway, do you ever wish that entertainers of their caliber were still around? Well, of course we do. Well, wish no more. Meet the incredibly talented Ashley Cooper. He's the showman that has been bringing local audiences to their feet. If you haven't heard of him yet, here's the scoop. A song and dance man. If you enjoyed Sammy Davis Jr., you'll love Ashley the Entertainer. He raised in a household with his grandfather, and he taught himself to sing and dance by indulging in his grandfather's music. And so I think he is calling in. We're very excited about that, so I don't have to tell you any more. So good morning. Ashley, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, what I've been doing since we started, just about 2 or 3 minutes, I was telling everyone about you. I said, well, we hope he's going to call in from Peru, and I started raving about you. So, Ashley, first tell us why you're in Peru.
Well, I've been in Peru for the last 7 years. I've been here since 2010, and I'm a missionary. Down here, I give Bible studies. I help families. I do community organizing. I help teach people how to read and write and pretty much give Bible studies and just help people out.
So you know Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
You have to do that if you're in Peru. Well, I want to introduce you to the world of radio here because I've been reading about you. And I guess let's just start. We talked about that you're the entertainer and that we all want to bring back Sammy Davis Jr., Nat King Cole, of course, Fred Astaire, Johnny Mathis. Tell us about how this all started for you. And first, maybe what we should do is say, what do you do that people love so much?
Well, I try to present the songs of the 40s, the 50s, and the 60s. I try to present them the way that people remember the songs. I try to emulate the voices, the charisma, even the mannerisms of the people who sing the songs of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I try to capture it. I try to capture the class. I try to capture the style of the 40s, 50s, and 60s and present the music the way that people loved it.
And we did, and we do. And, you know, we hear a lot of people, they keep bringing it back. So you've done it, but you're a young man. Why do you love it?
Well, I was raised in a household with my grandfather, and he had a do-not-touch record collection. And, and as you can imagine, I definitely touched that record collection. He had 2 crates full of records, and I had a big record player in my room.
This is 78s, right?
Oh, yeah, they were the big records.
Right, big records.
They were the big records, and I'd come home after school, and every day it was like a treasure chest. You know, I would pull out a record. You know, sometimes it would be Bing Crosby, and I put it on, and I listened to it, and I loved the way the music sounded. I loved that I could actually understand the words of the songs, as opposed to the songs that many of my peers were listening to.
Yep.
Very hard to understand the words.
Right. It's interesting. I've always said, what's happened to music? But I don't want to be an old, you know, I want to be modern, but it's something about all the Frank Sinatra music that I listen to, or Barbra Streisand, and I don't understand. I mean, you can't slow dance to the current music, can you?
Not really. I always say I wonder what we're going to reminisce to in 50 years.
Right.
I doubt we're going to be reminiscing to rap.
I agree with you. Well, now, did your grandfather live long enough? Is he still living?
No, my grandfather passed when I was 8 years old.
Oh.
Yeah.
So he never saw you do this?
No, he didn't. That's one thing I wish he could have seen, yes.
Okay, well, let's just describe for the people who are listening, because we want them to come to your show in June, your shows. So just why don't you tell us maybe as someone who performs, and then maybe as someone sitting there in their chair, what they're going to see. You can probably do both.
Okay. Well, they're going to hear the voices of some of the greatest entertainers. They're going to hear the voice of Nat King Cole. They're going to hear the voice of Sammy Davis, the voice of Perry Como, Johnny Mathis, Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra. But they're also going to see song and dance, the way that it used to be done. They're going to see someone dress the way that people used to dress, the way that entertainers used to dress when they would be on stage.
You mean without the jeans with the holes in them?
Yeah, absolutely no jeans. I'm a firm believer that when you get dressed up, it's a way of showing respect for your audience.
Good for you. Now, are you doing this as a sole entertainer, or you have other people with you?
Actually, I'm going to be with a band this go around. I'm going to have a 9-piece band with a backup singer or two backup singers, a pianist. We're going to have some horns. We're going to have a bass player. We're going to have a guitar player, and but the entertainment factor, I'm going to try to make sure that all comes from my pores. Right. I'm going to make sure that comes from my heart, and I'm going to be the one on stage trying to present those songs in a way that gets people nostalgic. Now,
the people you have just mentioned, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., they all have different ways of singing. And Elvis Presley, how did you train yourself to do that?
That's interesting. Well, I would get home at the end of every day, and I'd put on those records. And as a little kid, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time, but I would listen to the songs, and I would try to sing along with them. And I would imitate their voices without even knowing it. And it wasn't until I got about 14 or 15 that people would actually tell me, hey, you sound like, Nat King Cole when I would sing, or when I would hear a song on the radio. And, I never thought I was, a talented guy. I just would always, just loved the music of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and I would always sing them whenever I got the chance. And people would just tell me, hey, you really sound like those guys. So I remember one day, I had my mother-in-law who worked at a retirement facility. She heard me sing a Nat King Cole song, and we were doing karaoke, as a family. And she said, there are people who go to retirement communities and they sing these songs for all the residents at these retirement communities. You should go in and try it. And I never gave it a second thought, but at the time I was working in carpentry, and I never gave it a second thought because, I loved carpentry. There's nothing like working with your hands. I loved it. But, of course, when the recession hit in 2007, well, I kind of didn't have anything else to do. So I put on a suit and tie, and I went into some of these retirement communities, and I said, hey, I would like to sing for your residents. I love the songs of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And, of course, they looked at me like I was crazy because I was about 20, how old was I at the time? I was probably 26, 27. And they looked at me, they, as if to say, well, what would a young man like you know about the songs of the 40s, 50s, and 60s? And so one of the guys, I went into one of the entertainment directors at a retirement community, and he says, well, let me hear what you got. So he sits down at this piano, and he flips open the songbook, and he just flips it open without even looking to see what page he was on. And when he stopped it was on the song Moon River. So he starts to play the song Moon River, and he says, let me see what you got, sing for me. And, of course, I started singing the song. When I got done, he shut the book and he says, okay, how much do you charge? Yeah. So anyway, that was the beginning of how I got started singing for seniors, and I never looked back.
Well, I told people before you called in that we're going to be able to see you at the Arts Garage, which is in Delray Beach, and it's going to be Friday, June the 9th, Saturday, June the 10th, 2 times. And I'm going, and I'm going to get all my friends to go, and we're going to really make this very successful for Ashley the Entertainer. You'll see on the cover, I've told them that also, that they will be able to see you in your smart way. You're quite an entertainer in many ways. I have a picture of you kind of in the air with the cane in just kind of flying around there, and he has a gorgeous tuxedo on, but it's not a typical tuxedo. So I'm very excited and thinking about what it's going to be for you. So I'd like to just, though, go into something that you said. I read this. Those who have met the entertainer would refer to him as a, how do you pronounce that? Yiddish for good soul?
Oh, a gute Neshuma.
I see. So they would, because it says when his grandfather fell ill with cancer, Ashley helped him, and he cared for him at home. You have a very deep connection to your family and doing good, which I think is very unusual for someone your age. How old are you, by the way, may I ask?
Well, I'm 34 now.
34 now, just a young kid. But do you have a family?
Well, I've been married for 12 years.
Okay.
No children as of yet.
Okay, but you spend a lot of time in Peru.
Yes.
And where in Peru? Lima or Cusco or? Well,
it's a tiny spot on the map that, you have no reason to have ever heard of it. It's called Tacna. It's a bone-dry desert. There's no reason you should know about it. I mean, it's literally a bone-dry desert that is not a tourist destination. Many of the houses here, they still have dirt floors. They don't have running water all day long. The electricity goes out pretty often. But no, it's definitely not a tourist destination. They just actually recently built their very first supermarket here. So.
But as a missionary, why did you go there? There are so many places you could have gone. What drove you there?
Well, it's not a pretty place. I'll give it that. I mean, like I said, it's a bone-dry desert, but the people make up for it. The people here are very humble, and when you try to help them, they absolutely take advantage of any resources that you give them. They're very appreciative. So that was one of the reasons why we chose this place. Also, we knew a couple that were missionaries already, and they were here. And when they went to visit us in Kansas, I was living in Kansas at the time with my wife. They told us about this place, and they said, "Hey, it's not pretty, but the people are beautiful. They're humble, and they really appreciate any help they can get." So that's one of the reasons we came here.
We like that kind of talk. Our company always wants to help people, and especially the older adults. And I just want to, though, talk about your show, because I think that's what everyone is going to be so excited to see. So when you come out, do you keep changing your costumes? Because I've seen you in different outfits, or you wear the same one for the whole show?
Well, I try to do a costume change at least once at every show. I like to keep it fresh. I like to keep it new during the show. And I personally, I just enjoy putting on different suits. I like to keep the audience guessing.
I saw all the pictures. That's right. You're gorgeous in all those outfits. I mean, it's for me, in my mind, thinking about you as a missionary in a small little community in Peru, and then coming to Delray Beach and putting on this big show is kind of interesting, isn't it?
Well, no, it's definitely not your typical. I'm not your typical entertainer. I would say that, but I'm a missionary who masquerades as an entertainer.
That's very well put. Instead of an entertainer that masquerades as a missionary, right?
Yes.
So, do you sing? Do you sing for them in Peru?
Actually, I try not to distract from the message of hope and help that I give to the people. I do, get the kids together, the young people, locally, to come over the house and, do a little karaoke and have a little fun entertainment. But they don't know me as the entertainer. They know me as the teacher.
I understand, but music solves so many problems, doesn't it? I mean, giving them the music can make them very happy.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's what you're doing. I truly admire you and how you told us how you did this. But tell me, of all one thing that I need to tell everybody, that you've done a lot of shows. It says that I think at the age of 14, with over 1,700 shows, now you're really looking to get out there big time. Have you ever considered going to Vegas to do a show?
Well, honestly, I'm not looking for fame. I'm not looking for fortune. Really, what I want the most is to just keep sharing this wonderful music with the people who truly appreciate it, which are the people who were around in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right.
I'm the type of guy I like to come home at night to my wife. So,
good.
No, I'm not looking for fame or fortune. I just want to share good music with good people and make an honest living. Okay,
well, if you're too good, you may have to do that. People are going to be clamoring for you. Where's Ashley? But we're going to. So is this the first time you're really doing it on this large scale in Delray?
Yes, this is actually going to be the first time I'm putting on my own show. Usually I perform at the 55 plus communities at the local theaters there, the condominiums, but this is the first time I'll be putting on my own show.
Well, we're going to do everything in our power, besides having you on the cover of our May issue and everything else, to make this a success. I am very, very touched by you. I know you and I spoke at first, and I thought, I don't know about this. What are we going to do? But now you've gotten me inspired. And so I'm going to do everything I can. Of all the entertainers, which one do you like to emulate the most?
Yeah, I would definitely have to say Nat King Cole.
Okay, why is that?
Well, I've never met a person who did not like Nat King Cole's voice. And I think that speaks a lot about the way that he sings and his talent. I mean, there are people, even here in Peru, that enjoy his music. And they don't even speak English.
But he did have a way. You're absolutely right. It was very soft, very nice. And I'm not going to ask you to sing from Peru on the show. We're going to wait to be able to hear you. And so you're going to have a backup band, which is even more interesting. And wow. Well, I know they'll be promoting you, and we're going to put you on our website, and we're going to do a lot to do it. So I hope everybody, this is what I have to do now. The way for people to buy tickets, everyone get your pencils out. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. You have a chance to hear and see Ashley the Entertainer, Friday, June 9th. And I know it's a little ways off, but probably they're going to get sold out, so you'll want to get your tickets now. But it's Friday, June 9th at 7 o'clock in the evening, or Saturday, June 10th at 3 o'clock for those of you who don't want to be out in the evening, and Saturday, June 10th. That's when I'm going, at 7 p.m. The ticket, there are group rates, and the way to do this, you can call the Arts Garage box office and just get your pencils. It's 561-450-6357. 561-450-6357. Or you can, of course, go to artsgarage.org because their website will have it. We're going to be doing some commercials for Ashley, and we're going to be telling you about this up until June the 10th. June the 9th, because we want you to go. We want you to see this, and especially now that you know that he's doing so many other good things too. But for those of you who are yearning for the old days of the big band, the rock and roll, blues, all the things that I know I miss, well, you're going to get it right there. So I think that you look a little bit like, well, I must say, like Fred Astaire in the way that I see your pictures.
Well, thank you.
Do you dance like Fred Astaire?
I try. I try to do a little soft shoe, a little tap. I like to dance, a little swing. I would watch these old movies, many of the movies that my grandfather loved, and I would, after I got done watching these movies, I would get in the mirror and imitate what I had saw. And I wouldn't get out of the mirror, I wouldn't leave the mirror until I had mastered the dance. So
this is just great.
Yes, I do enjoy doing the dances that were around in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
So how often do you come from Peru back to the United States? Should I be finding places for you to do this?
Usually I spend about 3 to 4 months in the States. I'm here in Peru 9 months out of the year. I go to Florida during the snowbird season, which is pretty tough because of the traffic, but I go to Florida. I go back to Florida during the snowbird season to perform at different venues there in Boca Raton and Boynton Beach and Delray.
All good places, and I'm sure the traffic's a lot different than being in Peru. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I think I told you the story that my daughter, when she was only 14, she lived in Cusco with the mayor's home, and we had their daughter. It was kind of an exchange program. So I know a little bit about Peru, not like you do, but just that the people are very, very sweet. And, of course, now Lima is a very big city, but you're not involved in any of that. You're in this little tiny place, and I have no idea where it is, and that's okay. But you're making a difference, and everyone needs to make a difference in the world in some way, and it sounds like that's what you're doing.
Absolutely, I'm trying. I've helped out a lot of young kids to stay on the right path, to contribute to their family and contribute to society, and instead of just loitering through life. And for the last 7 years since I've been here, I've seen very, very good results of helping young people to get on the right path. I try to do the same work whenever I come back to the States. I do the same community organizing. I do the same. I give Bible studies when I'm back in the States, and I do also mentor young people when I'm back in the States. And the results are there. You can just see the difference between a young kid who has a positive role model in their life and those who don't.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You say all the right things, and when and if you do have children, and you will inspire them. Of course, a lot of I guess you could even in a way, you're adopting children while you're there. You're fostering them. You're not, you're doing what you would do with your own family.
Yes. Yes, actually, that's one of the reasons people say, well, don't you have children yet? You've been married 12 years, but I tell you, with all the young people that we help, we feel like we've already had a bundle of kids.
Yeah, you have. Let me ask you, what time is it there in Peru now?
It is 5:55.
Oh, so you're about an hour difference. Well, we have the most gorgeous sunrise right now. I don't know if you have a sunrise there now. It just started here. Do you have one?
Yes, the sun is already out.
Oh, okay. Well, it's so beautiful here. And do you get a lot of rain where you are?
No, but it is one of the driest places on Earth. It never rains, which is one of the reasons I kind of like it here. It never rains. There's no mosquitoes. There are no creepy crawlies. It's like I said, a bone-dry desert. As far as the eye can see, it's almost as if you're looking out into a really huge sandbox.
Huh? Amazing that you would be in such an isolated place, and yet you have two worlds. You have two hats, as they say. The Fred Astaire hat, and you have the missionary hat. But the dichotomy of where you are is so interesting. Do you have pictures of what that looks like there?
Well, on my Facebook page, I often put things on my Facebook page, and my wife has an Instagram page where she documents what we've been doing here in Peru for the last 7 years.
Huh. Your life, you're young. You're just in your 30s, so you have 60 years to go of lots of things you're going to do, and I am so glad that you found us somehow. I don't know how you found us, but I'm glad because we are going to definitely shake, roll, rock and roll, and shimmy and shake and do everything we can to get people to come and see you. If not, here they're going to see a terrific young man doing such good in the world and at the same time entertaining us, and I just absolutely can't wait. I don't have if I went on your website, would I hear any of your music? Because I've been on your website and I don't remember that. Will I see anything on there?
I do have several videos on YouTube if you're looking to see what I do.
That's what I'll do.
Okay, you just go to YouTube and you type in Gash Cooper, which is my first name's Greg and my middle name's Ashley. My last name's Cooper, so G Ash Cooper. And all of my videos will pop up right on YouTube. You can see exactly what I do. Okay,
I'm going to
type in Ashley the Entertainer.
Okay, I'm going to do that. As a matter of fact, you don't know this, but there was a man here that ran this radio station named Greg Cooper. He moved to Atlanta, and I saw your name, and I said, I wonder if you have a relationship, a relative like that.
People often ask me if I am from one of the Carolinas because they have two rivers there that converge, and one of them is the Ashley River and the other is the Cooper River.
Oh, I love it. That's great.
Yes.
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful talking with you, and we look forward to, we're going to be doing this again, and we're going to get to see you, and we thank you so much for what you do, and we'll be putting you on our May cover, Ashley. So thank you so much for calling us.
It was my pleasure, Anita. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.